What's good, guys? Just Prince TV here, coming at you with another one. Now, you already heard the Pusha T song with Jay Z and Pharrell, right? And the Jay Z verse is catching a lot of attention, And the reason why it's catching a lot of attention is because he mentioned in that song, he talked about the Commission, which was a group that Jay Z and Biggie was going to form. A lot of people didn't know that. Charlie Baltimore was going to join the group too, and a couple other cats. Well, he also mentioned in that rhyme that he wouldn't be Jay Z if Biggie was alive. That's what some people think, And here's the thing: I'm not one of those guys that, you know, like to sit there and say, "Oh, if it wasn't for this guy, it wasn't for that guy." I kind of have like to have a belief in people that, hey, regardless of who's around, you would have still shined. You would have still been a superstar. But in this case, I have to help but wonder, would Jay-Z still be a superstar if Biggie was around? There's no doubt about it that he would have been an elite, so-called an elite rapper, a guy that make hit records. But would he have outshined Biggie? The question to me is no. I don't think he would never outshine Biggie unless Biggie wasn't around. Biggie was just that much bigger of a personality. He was a dude that attracted more attention. So it's like when you watch a movie and you go back in time and you see a guy change one thing that could alter history, right? Well, the thing that could alter history for Jay-Z is if Biggie was around, um, he's still been famous, but he wouldn't been the Jay-Z that we know. Maybe to a certain extent, because he probably had a better business intuition. I always thought Jay-Z was a more better businessman than Biggie. And even if they formed that group, the Commission, people have been looking at Biggie as a superstar more, and Jay-Z was still been looked upon as the number two. Because you guys got to understand something. But they all were in their primes. Jay-Z was taking the backseat to not just a Biggie. He was taking the backseat to Tupac. He was taking the backseat to Nas. Okay, Nas was perceived as a better rapper than Jay-Z from the get-go. He was looked at a guy that changed the game. His album groundbreaking, Illmatic. So he was always better than Jay-Z, if you just want to be quite frank about it. And he always had more pressure and the weight of a superstar more than Jay-Z. Jay-Z was a guy that came up in certain circumstances because guys weren't around. It's just simple as that. He would have been a great rapper. He still would have, you can't take those hits. Hard Knock Life would have still existed if Biggie was around. Some of those classic songs and classic albums would have still exist if Biggie was around. But he still would have been taking the backseat to Big, because Big wouldn't have been going anywhere. His projects will always continue to outshine Jay-Z, no matter what. Look at Life After Death. I didn't even like the album too much, but it went diamond. Okay? Jay-Z was never going to produce an album to go diamond. None of his biggest albums ever went that, I believe. Okay? Even when Biggie wasn't around, he still couldn't produce an album to go diamond. 2 times platinum, 3 times platinum, fine. He would always been taking the back seat to Biggie. Tupac, he made a court Tupac. Okay? I always thought if Tupac was still alive, his attraction would have gone down. Because keep in mind, he wasn't viewed as the best rapper when he was alive. People only been saying that when he passed away. He's just one of those rappers that became an icon once he passed away. But when he was alive, nobody looked at Tupac and be like, yo, you the greatest rapper. Nobody was saying that. People was calling Biggie one of the greatest rappers of all time while he was still alive. All right, so it's a complete different thing, MCing and all this other stuff. Tupac was never really on that list like that. This is why I say he's kind of overrated, because you didn't have that same energy for him when he was alive. You only had it when he passed away because of the hype that was around it. And I think Jay-Z would have outshined Tupac eventually, but he would have still played second fiddle to Nas. He would have played second fiddle to Biggie. So he wouldn't have been the king of New York as long as both of those guys is around. Biggie passing away opened up the gate more because it lessened the competition for Jay-Z. I really do believe that. But what do you think, man? Do you think Jay-Z still would have been so-called, Jay-Z that we know now if it wasn't for Biggie passing away? I disagree. It is what it is. Just Prince TV out. Peace.